Yes, guys, welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the review of Manchester United's 4-1 win against Melbourne Victory, the second game on pre-season. I am Alex. I am joined by Dre. Not quite 4-0 FC.
No.
But we are 4 goals FC. 4 goals in the first 2 games.
I
thought
it might have been 4-0 to Melbourne after the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, it didn't look great to start with. We'll go through all that. We'll go through all the goals. Get in the comments. Let us know who you're... We can't say man of the match because people only did 45 minutes, but who's your standout performers in both halves? Who you thought was the best in the first half? Who impressed you in the second half? We're going to go through that. We are going to start with that first goal, with that first conceding of a goal of the first 5 minutes, wasn't it? So game starts. It is pretty frantic. Down the left-hand side, Luke Shaw out of position. Lindelof goes to press. Looks like their right winger. He skips past Lindelof, and all of a sudden, we're backs to goals. We're looking the wrong way. We're running back towards goal. A little bit of quality from them as well.
Yeah.
Great cross. First time finish. 1-0 down, and everyone, that joy of the Liverpool game went away in them first 30 seconds, didn't they?
Honestly, we were saying on the stream, we had a little bit of excitement, and it kind of just went after we saw Maguire and Lindelof scrambling back to try and to stop a goal. But it was a really good goal from them.
Yeah.
The way that the ball was played through, first time cross, and the finish as well, first time.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant goal. But yeah, not the start we wanted, as I said. You could just tell that, Maguire, he still has those pace issues.
Yeah.
They still have their positioning issues. Mm-hmm. But what I was really impressed with was how United, they didn't panic. I know it's a pre-season game. I know it's against Melbourne. It's not the same as playing a Premier League match, but they calmed down and the game just very slowly changed and United began to settle into the game and just keep the ball. They
did, and it was a very, very different game to what was the first game against Liverpool that was frantic for most of the first half, completely with very back and forth. It settled down and it was Melbourne sitting back. I'm going to get into a couple of super chats before we get to that. Or Ross, been member for 23 months. One of our moderators, happy birthday to Ross. Thank you very much for everything you do and all that in the channel. Make sure you give loads of happy birthdays to Ross in the chat. But then Mike, who also is a member, mentioning attacking down the right-hand side for the first time in years. Glad Marcus got his goal. Good game. Both of our goals in the first half kind of came from that right-hand side. We picked up on the stream as well. That little clip pass out to either Delo or Sancho, that's happened in a lot of games so far, in both games so far. It's either been a pull across the box. We got the goal from Scott McTominay's, bit of a deflected shot, but we're starting to see things down that right-hand side, which, considering most of our good footballers come from Paul, Pogba, Bruno and Rashford on the left-hand side, it's good to see a bit of variety in there.
Definitely. And it was Fred and McTominay also making those passes. It wasn't just Bruno making that pass over the top, which was really good to see. But what I think was really important and key, and we've got to take away from this, was that United weren't rushing to make that pass. They were very happy when Melbourne had loads of numbers and they defended well behind the ball. They weren't rushing that pass. They were keeping the ball. Players were moving, few little passes, and then when it was ready, they then made that pass over the top and to the right side into Dallo or whoever it was. Yeah. And that was key. It just shows that United all of a sudden, for one of the first times, kind of post-Ferguson, are starting to look very comfortable on the ball and just they're happy to commit numbers gradually, not force it, and when it's right, strike. And it happened today.
Absolutely. It did look more controlled. We then got into the second goal that happened where we mentioned there, it was that little pass out to the right-hand side, crossed the box, got to Martial, and he slots it home. It's looking like we've got a United goal, which I think is something that everyone's talked about for a while. The big dig at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was we haven't got a style of play. It's a lot of individual brilliance, but we're starting to see now this working into the right channel and kind of there, whether it's either a slip through to the full-back who pulls it across there, or it's something where, like we did in the first game, where it's a pull-back and a cross from the corner of that box. It's good to see that working, and it's good to see Anthony Martial getting another goal in these games.
Yeah, definitely. I think, a lot of people might have thought Martial would never play for United again. with the whole Ronaldo situation, he's playing on pre-season because we don't have any other number 9s right now. But he's doing well. Did he score against... He did score against Liverpool, didn't he?
Scored against Liverpool.
Scored against Liverpool. So there you go. 2 goals in 2 games. It's confidence for him. He needs to just keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Bring that into the season because we might, it's not guaranteed, but we might find ourselves where Martial next season is our starting number 9. And I think Ten Hag looks at him and thinks, I might be able to, really coach this player, keep him happy, and kind of make him into the number 9 that I want at Man United. Yeah.
So that's kind of the end of the first half. That was 2-1. It ended in the first half. Was Martial your standout player in that?
Yeah, I think it was harder to say in the first half because there was quite a few players I was impressed with. I think Fred and McTominay, like I said, they did quite well. Bruno as well, but I think I'd say Martial. What about you?
I'd agree. I think he was very, very good again. I thought the midfield maybe had a bit of balance. I think McTominay grew into the game. I think he looked ropey to start with, but I think he played okay. Apart from that, I thought Dalot getting forward's good to see. I think that's one of the good things. I think these are the games you want to see him doing, him kind of stepping forward and doing that. That's his strengths. But yeah, Martial, Sancho looked sharp again. Bruno again looked sharp. Didn't get the assist or get too involved in this half, but he did look again sharp. We then went on into the second half. Loads of changes again. 10 players changed. Tom Heaton played all 90 minutes. You then saw Marcus Rashford come on as captain. And then a kind of similar team to what was the last game. Ahmad kind of that false 9. Chung came on instead of Pellistri. Donny van der Beek, Charlie Savage, Zidane Iqbal. That very odd back 4 that we've got, but we did get to see Ethan Laird. The third goal, Erik Bailly again, who made a lot of mistakes in that second half. It wasn't quite as clean as he was in the first game against Liverpool, but then creating another goal and a good finish from Marcus Rashford. First off, do you see Erik Bailly playing any more minutes? Do you see him getting a game? And also, how important was it for Marcus Rashford to get that goal?
Well, I think with Erik Bailly, he pretty much summed up Erik Bailly. The only thing that would have, put the icing on the cake is if he got injured in the game. Which did. But, he showed that he's got that bit of wildness about him. He brought the ball forward, played a great pass into Martial, but also made those mistakes. And that's it's just a reflection of his career at United, I think, personally. Do I think he'll stay? I think with Martinez, the signing being imminent, if we've had the here we go, that then means that we're going to have Martinez, Varane, Maguire, Lindelof and Bailly at the club. I think one of those will have to go.
Yeah.
And it's going to be either Lindelof and Bailly, and out of the two, I think it'll be Bailly who goes personally. And then talking about Rashford, again, it took him a little while to grow into the half. He was playing in that number 9 role most of it, but I'm really pleased that he scored his goal. He did well to take a bit of the pace off the Bailly pass because it wasn't, it was a good pass, but it wasn't easy for him, and then just slotted it through the legs. We know how Rashford was last season. We know how low on confidence he's going to be. So anything like this where he gets a goal and he's going to potentially build his confidence, we've got to be really happy with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Then the fourth goal, I think one of probably our favourite goals of it all, just how the move kind of came out. Ball out to teeth. Chong gets the byline, pulls it across. And yes, it was an own goal, but there was people lining up, Donny van der Beek lining up there. Again, coming from that right-hand side, looks good. Got a few quotes here from Erik Ten Hag. Get your questions in, get your comments in. We will talk about that very, very shortly. But Erik Ten Hag, a really compact opponent, sat so far back waiting for us. I think the team reacted really good. We created a lot on the right-hand side, like we've been saying. A lot of those goals come from there. Against an opponent that comes forward is easier. When they are sat back, you have to invest more in running. Then Ten Hag mentions the youth. We took these players with us so I could get an impression. They all get a chance. If they can contribute immediately to Manchester United or if they need a loan period. United has some talent, but you can see they need improvement and development. Let's talk a little bit about the youth. Again, the standout performer, I think, in the 2 second halves, definitely. Erik Bailly's got a mention, but Zidane Iqbal, coming into the last game where he played against Liverpool, was against probably their first choice midfield, was impressive. To then go and do it, feels again, and be potentially the best player on the pitch in the second half and look so controlled in a position he's not used to, is really impressive. And I think we've got to start asking questions of, does Zidane Iqbal make it into the first team and play games for Manchester United next season?
Well, he's definitely, giving himself a shout, especially with what Ten Hag said there about if players are good enough, they're old enough. So I thought he was brilliant. He's playing with confidence. He did like a roulette turn, a few nutmegs, like his feet, they just quick feet, confidence, good passing. He looked really good. I think Charlie Savage as well wasn't on fire, but played well. Yeah. You got to remember he's a young lad playing on tour for Man United's first team. Good on him. And it was good to see some youngsters playing well. Ethan Laird did all right.
Yeah.
And Malacia as well. He built on what he did against Liverpool. He played really well.
Yeah,
so it's a positive.
That back four, Malacia has played in those 2 games, not conceded a goal in both them games. You've had Ethan Laird coming into it. I think Ethan Laird's got a chance of making it into this first team. I don't think we're stacked to that right side. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka's got question marks over him. Same thing with Diogo Dalot. Yeah. He's got to, if he's going to get into the United team, it will be this season. I feel like it's got to be this one.
Absolutely.
Apart from that, the other questions, there may be, again, we've won 4-1. There's not too many things to pick here. Donny van der Beek, I feel like that's 2 games now where he's kind of been on the periphery of things and not really got involved. You can question the players he's got around him, whether that's helped, but are you a bit worried for Donny van der Beek?
I am, and the reason I am is because this isn't new. He's had appearances for United. Again, we know he hasn't had enough starts, and I completely agree with that argument that he should have got more, but he's had a lot of appearances where he's come on off the bench and he's just not done anything. He's just gone missing in the game. He's looked very quiet. Again, hasn't in particularly done anything wrong, but you need to be coming on and like making your mark, stamping your authority on the game, showing the manager why you should be starting and getting more appearances. And unfortunately for Donny, he seems to be like one of those players. He's always there and ready, but he's just not getting into the games, and that was the same today. Yeah, I know it's pre-season again, and the midfield. What I noticed, it was very compact in the middle of the pitch today. It was a lot of bodies in the midfield. So naturally, Donny was playing in the number 10 role-ish. Yeah. He's not going to get as much ball as he would in a more expansive game. But I am a little bit worried, and the reason I'm worried, like I said, is because this is nothing new. Yeah. And we talked about a little bit on the live. But if Eriksen comes in, is that another person ahead of Van der Beek?
It's a big question. I think you've got Ten Hag in there where he should be helping him out and should be doing that kind of stuff. Got to just wait and see for those things. The other question we've got to kind of look at is people asking about James Garner in the comments. He looks to be injured at this moment in time. Do not panic about him. I think he's not quite fit yet. I don't think this is him being dropped or anything like that. Few people asking about Hannibal and Garnacho. Again, they're both on the bench. I think they've trained. Big question, maybe a question mark over him. I'm not too worried about Garnacho. Very, very young. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that whatsoever. Let's have a look what else we've got in the comments. A few people are mentioning McTominay and all this kind of stuff. Look, I think McTominay, is it telling that they've started Fred McTominay again? And the big question is, look, we've signed Martinez now, and then we've got, hopefully, Frankie de Jong to come in. And I think if we don't get Frankie de Jong, there will be another midfielder we try and get. That midfield could change straight away. And that could be, we've gone from Fred McTominay in these 2 games. You could switch that straight away and play Martinez and de Jong in 2 weeks' time, and that could be the case. Yeah,
you could. And I think, like you said, it's to do with options, but it's pre-season. Everyone's going to get a game. It wasn't necessarily the case. I'm going to start with Fred and McTominay because these are the 2 I want to go into next season with. Yeah, and then we'll change it at half-time. I think it's just the balance he chose. Like it was the starting lineup was quite a similar team to what we'd have seen last year. Yeah, and that might have been something he wanted to have a look at because like being there in the flesh. Obviously, he would have watched games, but it was very similar. The only difference really was Martial being up front, Tom Heaton being in goal.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't think that's something that we need to look into too much. It's still very much likely that we're going to sign a midfielder, at least one midfielder. Yeah. Who it is, though, we'll have to wait and see. Should be de Jong.
It should be. Right, we've got nearly 2,000 of you in the watching today. let's get up to 1,000 likes. Let's get liking this video. Get liking the video.
Go on.
The next question we have to ask, there's a lot of people in the comments. Harry Maguire came back into this team today. A lot of people asking, including Stephen Howson, can he play in this high line? Can he do what Ten Hag wants him to do? Those first 4 minutes didn't really shine him in too much glory in him running back to goal and looking like he's running through custard. Do you think Harry Maguire has, is he going to be part of this team? And also, can you read too much in this first 45 minutes? And, is that the same for the whole squad? Can we read too much in this? Most have played 90 minutes total. Can we read too much into it? And do you think that Harry Maguire still has a place in this team and so moving forward?
Well, I think he does, because Ten Hag said the other day that he does. He says that he's still going to be captain, and your captain has to play, doesn't they, really? Ideally, you want your captain fit and playing every week. We said it earlier. Maguire had a shocking season. It's got to be a clean slate for him. He's shown at times in his career that he can be a good player. Is he a world-class player that's going to take Man United back to winning titles? No, I don't think he is. I don't think many people do. But can he play better than he did last season? Yes, I do think that. He might be Lisandro Martinez's partner. Varane has clearly shown that fitness is a problem, so you can't rely on Maguire and Varane. So I think it makes sense that, Maguire is the one who is the solid choice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite worrying in that first 5 minutes that the very first thing we saw was Lindelof and Maguire scrambling back to goal to try and stop a goal, which they couldn't inevitably stop because of the lack of pace they had.
Yeah.
We'll have to just wait and see. I think Ten Hag's going into this season quite optimistic.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to give players, like I said, a clean slate and try and work with them and he said this in his first press conference. He says, I want to give my take. I want to have my take on things.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, very telling, because everyone's already got a take. Everyone has their own opinion on every player. And social media kind of expands these extreme opinions and kind of, so from Maguire's crap, blah, 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 everyone thinks that now. But Ten Hag has said, no, I want to have my opinion.
Yeah.
And he'll give Maguire a chance, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen.
It's going to be interesting to see. Let's have a look at a few comments about the game. People saying it should be Bailly and Martinez. I don't see that as a centre-half partnership for next season. Might be wrong, but I just don't think that we'll get... I don't think Erik Bailly plays too many games next season, but that's just my opinion. Could be completely wrong.
A lot of any games.
A lot of not people too happy for Maguire. One comment here saying he played the first 4 minutes of the season. The next 20 minutes he was fine. I agree with that. Let him kind of get into it. We didn't really worry towards the end.
No, I agree.
We'll wait and see on this. Look, you said let Erik Ten Hag get his opinion on things. We say this. We see things in these small aspects of the game. 90 minutes is, in terms of what these teams do, is such a small amount of time that we see these guys working together. If Erik Ten Hag decides that Harry Maguire is going to play every week, he's going to look like he is. Yeah. Guy in the comments spamming about where is JJ and Maka. Go on to Instagram. You should be able to see where them guys are. They should be in and around and everything, so make sure you're checking out them guys. There will be reviews from Adam McCullough and the lads from outside the stadium today. They're going to be in Melbourne all the way through and doing that. We have Stephen Howson here later. You have a few more of your comments today. Room with Leg says Martinez will bring a bit more stability at the back, and the likes of Eriksen and such are good on the ball. I do think that adding Eriksen and Frankie de Jong into that team will add a bit more quality, and adding Martinez in the team.
Well, that's what's exciting. We're seeing already from these two games, especially today, United are playing differently, and players that are already at the club are managing to adapt to that. When we add more players, especially Ajax players who have played under Ten Hag and done this already, it's exciting.
It really is. It definitely is. A few people saying Bailly better than Maguire. He might be. I think there's a question mark massive over that. I think Bailly corrects more. Has to corrects more of his mistakes. That's what he does. I just don't think he's fit enough. I just don't think he's going to do it. I can't get excited about Erik Bailly. That run we had towards when we got to the top of the league under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Erik Bailly was playing all these games, and I was thinking, oh my God, we're going to win the league. And then, of course, he was injured again. And I do think there's a big question mark over that. Zidane Iqbal, again, there's loads of people saying how good he was today. He was fantastic again today. I'd like to see what happens. And almost, it might be worth him going out on loan. Because if he's doing this now, if he's not going to play, if we do get Frankie de Jong in, go and get some minutes and go and impress in the Premier League or a different league where he can play 90 minutes every week, because he's been extremely impressive, as was Charlie Savage today. Again, I think he was really good. I think, like I've said, Charlie Savage was one of those, we've not commented on him in the games. We've not gone, oh, he's done that. A lot of the time it's just he's doing the simple things well. He's not putting things over the top.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
He's still getting touches. Do you know what I mean? He's still getting the ball.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at a few more of your comments. By not for B, you need a centre-back to be calm and dependable. Completely agree. In the first half, only improvement was Dalot and Sancho combo. The rest looked quite familiar. Let's wait and see. I think there's going to be a lot of big changes. What else have we got there? I didn't get to see what's up with Jimmy Garner. I think he's injured. Don't worry about James Garner at all. He'll be back in the squad. I am looking forward to see that. It was good to see Ethan Laird. Not too much, but it was good again to see Manchester United scoring 4 goals. That is going to be all from us. Thank you very much for joining us, Dre. You'll be on the brew later on today, 4 o'clock today, so make sure you're doing that. Stephen Howson will be giving his review on this channel not too long from now, so make sure you are ready for that. That has been all from us. Make sure you're liking this video, making sure you're subscribing to Stretford Paddock. You'll see some stuff from tour as well. The lads are out there and we'll be posting stuff, reaction from outside the game. So make sure you're doing that. Thank you very much for joining us. Cheers for that. Like the video and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.